Mr. President.
Senator from Indiana.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'm here to talk about the bipartisan common sense farm bill that we are working on in the Senate this week. Agriculture is an essential part of the fabric that defines my home state of Indiana. Hoosier farmers are growing the food that feeds our families. Biofuel producers are making the ethanol and biodiesel that drives our economy. Ag students and researchers are developing the technologies of tomorrow. Together, they represent the best of Hoosier values. And right now, Hoosier farmers in our communities are navigating significant challenges. They need us to work together to help provide solutions. Our farmers are dealing with turmoil on the international marketplace, uncertainty in federal policies like the RFS, and low commodity prices that in many cases are below the cost of production. This farm bill can provide our ag community with some stability, and we need to ensure we do our part to get it across the finish line. Here's how Indiana Farm Bureau President Randy Crone described the situation. Farmers are relying on the Senate to pass a farm bill that allows them to plan for their operations with some level of certainty for the next 5 years and to provide a safety net in case extreme weather or a natural disaster damages their crops. Indiana's farmers are facing a lot of uncertainties right now. The dairy industry is facing low prices and lost contracts. There are fears over potential retaliatory tariffs and their impacts. There is a grain surplus that has brought commodity prices down drastically, as well as the uncertainty of the Renewable Fuel Standard, or RFS. Net farm income, it's down more than 50% compared to just 5 years ago. The ag community is depending on the passage of this farm bill. If our nation's farmers have the programs and assurances they need, all U.S. citizens will reap the benefit of quality, affordable food in our grocery stores. Phil Ramsey, a corn and soybean farmer from Shelbyville, Indiana, and the chairman of membership and policy for the Indiana Soybean Alliance, described the challenges farmers are facing by saying, after a spring that has challenged our farms from nearly every angle, Hoosiers and rural Americans need a farm bill now more than ever. With farm income down, input costs skyrocketing, the ethanol industry constantly under attack, and disrupted trade relations sharply driving down prices, the stability and safety net provided by the Farm Bill are critical to our farmers and ranchers across the nation. Randy and Phil are right. Now more than ever, farmers need us to do our job, to put together a farm bill that makes sense and gives them the opportunity to succeed. A farm bill that gives us the best opportunities to be successful will help farmers manage the risks outside of their control. But it's about much more than that. It's also about helping rural communities thrive, and also about fighting food insecurity. It's about investing in tomorrow's farmers and the most advanced technologies. It's about ensuring that Hoosiers have the resources and the tools to develop new markets for their products anywhere in the world. And it's about promoting conversation so that farms and natural habitats remain healthy generation after generation, and doing the conservation work to make that possible. Because there's more wisdom in Indiana than in Washington, D.C., I firmly believe a good farm bill is one that's written with input directly from Hoosiers that addresses issues important to our state. From Wayne County to Evansville to Washington, Indiana, to DeKalb County, to Jasper County, to Rensselaer, across our state, there's great ideas, great leadership, great entrepreneurial skills that can help us build the best farm bill possible. That's why I took every opportunity to listen to the priorities and concerns of Hoosiers who are involved in nearly every segment of our state's agriculture community during my Farm Bill listening tour and in meetings over the past years plus. From student groups and researchers, to anti-hunger advocates, to soybean and corn growers, to pork and dairy farmers, and to just about everyone in between. I wanted to hear from all of them about what this Farm Bill should do. I'm the hired help for the people of Indiana. I work for all of our citizens, and I took what I heard from Hoosiers, and I work with my colleagues to develop this bill, to work this bill, to successfully secure provisions that would improve risk management tools for our farmers, while still ensuring full planting flexibility, to expand market opportunities for Hoosier products, to promote impactful voluntary conservation activities, to help fight the opioid epidemic, which is a scourge on our state and our country, to support rural communities with investments in high-speed internet and waste and drinking water infrastructure, to fight against food insecurity, and to invest in the research necessary for tomorrow's technologies. I'd like to highlight a few of the Hoosier priorities in this bill. One of my top priorities was helping to fight the opioid epidemic in rural communities. We know it will take all of us working together to confront this opioid epidemic, this horrible nightmare that we have. We have more work to do to stem the tide of this public health crisis in our rural communities. I'm pleased that this bill includes 3 of my bipartisan provisions that combat the opioid epidemic by targeting telemedicine and community facility investments for substance abuse treatment, and also by investing in prevention and education programs. We want all of our family to be safe. We want all of our citizens across this country to avoid this scourge. We lost over 60,000 of our fellow brothers and sisters across this country to drug abuse last year. We do not want to lose one more, and we want this Farm Bill to help end this. These provisions I told you about were developed from my bipartisan rural opioids package I introduced with my friend, Chairman Pat Roberts, then Senator Strange, and with Senator John Hoeven from North Dakota in 2017. I want to thank all of them for partnering with me on these efforts. I've also advocated for efforts to ensure farmers are provided the tools they need to be good stewards for our environment, to hand off to our children and grandchildren an even safer, better, stronger planet. This bill would eliminate potential disincentives for voluntary conservation practices like cover crops and support soil health improvement programs. It also allows states to increase cost sharing for the most impactful conservation practices. Soil health and clean water are a passion for many Hoosiers, for many Hoosier farmers, and this bill helps in those efforts. The need to expand market opportunities has also come up in my conversations with our farmers. I am fully committed to expanding market opportunities for our ag products. This Farm Bill would increase opportunities for Hoosier farmers through export promotion programs. I work with my colleagues on proposals to open up more markets for American exports, including my bipartisan bill that increases investments in 2 important export promotion programs: the Foreign Market Development Program and the Market Assistance Program. This legislation I introduced in September of 2017 with my friends and Senators Joni Ernst of Iowa, Angus King of Maine, and Susan Collins of Maine. I've also worked to ensure full planting flexibility for our farmers who want to plant fruits and vegetables. This ensures farmers can diversify their farms without worrying about losing access to commodity support programs in the future. It may sound a little bit technical, but it is critically important, and we have to make sure it gets done. Ensuring planting flexibility is a strong passion of mine. It builds on a bipartisan bill I introduced with Senator Todd Young, my colleague from our home state, in December of 2017. And it also builds on my work in the 2014 and the 2008 Farm Bill. Another important issue I care deeply about is helping those struggling with food insecurity. I am really proud that this bipartisan bill strengthens the oversight of the SNAP program and helps to fight food insecurity by reforming food assistance programs while protecting access to benefits and maintaining the integrity of the programs. It makes it easier for seniors to access food assistance by reducing burdensome paperwork. This is based on legislation I worked with my friend Bob Casey from Pennsylvania with. Providing for the future of agriculture by making the investments in vital research and extension activities is another priority. This bill contains a provision of mine that reauthorizes and revamps the New Era Rural Technology Program to help our community colleges fund efforts to develop a workforce trained in the precision agriculture technologies that are expected to continue to improve the efficiency of modern farming. I have a few more amendments I'm hoping we can get adopted this week, including one that increases funding for the Emergency Food Assistance Program. This helps food banks and pantries respond to the needs of their local communities. I've also introduced a bipartisan amendment with Senators Smith and Fisher. It allows community colleges serving rural areas to receive funding through USDA's Essential Community Facilities Program. This helps ensure rural communities have the local educational opportunities that can help our children thrive, that can help our friends and neighbors thrive, that can help create success in every county in my state and across our country. Finally, I want to thank all my colleagues on the Senate Agriculture Committee for their efforts to ensure we had strong bipartisan support for getting the Farm Bill to this point. Everybody worked incredibly hard. Everybody focused on doing what was right for America and not worrying about politics. And everybody focused on how we can help our ag community be stronger, have more success, and do even better in the future. Our farmers need us to continue working together as advocates for agriculture and for a farm bill that supports their hard work. The ag community gets up in the dark, works all day, and goes home in the dark. They are an incredible example for everybody in our country about dedication to family and faith and community and country. I know the farmers of Indiana and Hoosier rural communities are tired of being pawns to partisan politics. They've been dealing with depressed commodity prices, chaotic trade markets, and the uncertainty of federal policies, whether it was the previous administration's expansion of the WOTUS rule or this administration's efforts to undermine the RFS. It's time for us to do our part to make sure that this is a strong bipartisan bill and that it's an example of us working together, not as Democrats or as Republicans, but as Americans, to do good things for our economy and our people. I urge the Senate to promptly pass this bill so we can conference with the House and get this to the President's desk as quickly as possible. Farmers and rural communities in Indiana and across our country are counting on us. It's an incredible privilege to represent our ag community on the Agriculture Committee and to work on the Farm Bill to make the lives of everybody in our farming communities better, stronger, and even more successful. Mr. President, I yield the floor. I note the absence of a quorum.